Hey guys, welcome to Get Busy Watching. I'm your host, Honest Dan. Let's talk movies. Got a rapid fire this week, so let's hit it.
Oh my goodness, look at that. That must be the main house. Come on, Jude. Who's this handsome chap?
BRAHMS.
How'd you come up with that?
He tells me all sorts of things.
Predicted that the movie would be average. I was way off. It's bad. I have no idea how or why I didn't question this when watching the trailers, but the doll's name being Brahms makes no sense. The boy who previously owned the doll was named Brahms. Why does the doll have that name? The doll likely had the name Brahms ever since he first became documented. What were the fucking chances of the doll named Brahms would happen to run into a family with a son whose name is Brahms? Seriously, this was a heavy combination of stars being aligned, mixed with a touch of God, mixed with hitting the enter key and typing in "there is no cow" level. Did this script ever go through a second rewrite? Beyond that, my fears were realized. The doll is obviously possessed. Zero subtlety. Everything you see in the trailer that could have possibly been saved by being a dream sequence is real. The eyes moving, the head turning, which is so bizarre because they almost set up a possible psychological element with Liza, who suffers from headaches after the home invasion in the beginning. Maybe this could have been played with to bring back the subtle hauntings, but that would do little to make up for the rest of the film, which isn't all that great. Jude just casually does everything that Brahms tells him to do. No red flags go off at all, doesn't even attempt to get his parents' help, taking all the vague threats at face value. And to top it all off, it's boring. Yeah, as predicted, Katie Holmes kinda saves the movie for me, as she does give a pretty dedicated performance, but as a whole, there's a whole lot of nothing that happens. Not a single jump scare is worthy enough to plug an ear, a whole lot of cliches and tropes. It's just not worth seeing in any fashion. Total pass. My honest rating for Brahms The Boy 2, a 2 out of 5. Saved only by Katie Holmes.
I don't know where you came from, but I know where you are now. Welcome to the last place on the earth.
We could go, you and I, where no one's ever been before. Adventure of a lifetime.
Balto meets Beethoven. I know, it's based on a book, but that's exactly what this movie is. It's Balto meets Beethoven. I mean, it's about a troublemaking big dog. He goes on an adventure through a snowy wilderness, wrestles with his inner dog/wolf, right down to a ghost wolf that guides him. And there's even a mean leader dog that looks exactly like Steel. It's so funny. Surprisingly though, this isn't the worst mashup. Let me get this out of the way. The CG on Buck the dog is not particularly good. His eyes are way too expressive, and I wonder why a real dog wasn't just trained. But I'm happy to report that sooner or later you successfully suspend your disbelief and roll with it. And honestly, this film does have some merits. On the one hand, it's not afraid to show some harsh drama, like Buck and his fears of clubs that have been used to harm him, or a rather brutal fight between him and Spitz the Husky. Some action sequences are harrowing, particularly the avalanche scene. You gotta be kidding me, that was in Balto as well? And to top it all off, gorgeous cinematography. Clearly CGI, but it's eye-pleasing to say the least. As for negatives, the movie has a nasty habit of moving on to a new plot just as we're getting attached to the previous one. We never learn what happens to Buck's previous family, we never learn about his team that he got separated from, and we're thrown a pointless bad guy leading to a fairly bummer of an ending. Overall, it's not bad. It certainly has its flaws, and I can definitely see it getting a harsher thrashing than I'm giving it, but I still think that it's a solid, albeit cheesy, adventure flick. But if that's up your alley, then I say check it out. My honest rating for The Call of the Wild, a 4 out of 5.
Hank es casi perfecto. Es apasionado y es amoroso y es sexy. Es un gran amante. Quiero que te vengas a una isla conmigo. Nos iríamos mañana.
Mild bipolar, NOS, agoraphobic, hyperlexic, with OCD, GHD, ADHD, and cyclical Tourette's. It is remarkable that someone has achieved this level of success with meds.
Hold that thought.
Espero verte ahí entonces, Hank.
¡A huevo! Backstreet Boys!
This seriously feels like an out-of-touch comedy with only a couple of dashes of actual humor thrown in. This is the kind of movie that you just know was written in a day, with the writers just sitting around going, what if he's crazy? Yeah, and what if he's bipolar? And he has Tourette's. And has ADD. Comedy gold. What does Crazy Ex-Girlfriend know? The primary problem is that this movie is just one joke. He forgot his meds that keep his conditions under control, and hijinks ensues. Thinking the dark tiles on the ground are landmines, screams out curse words, not an accurate portrayal of Tourette's by the way, hallucinations, hears noises, and essentially makes funny faces as he tries and royally fails at keeping his shit together. What makes this worse, and believe me, that's saying quite a lot, even in the beginning when we first meet Hank, he's still so obviously medicated that it's hard to not see that there's something off about him. Whether he's over-the-top medicated or over-the-top losing it, it's still over-the-top no matter his mental condition. Even when shit hits the fan, it's a wonder how or why Jess doesn't sit him down and confront him about his increasingly bizarre behavior. Staggeringly, that's not even the worst offense this movie has. Nope, it's Brian Baumgartner's character Chase and his obnoxiously disgusting gelatinous drool. Fucking why? Does this movie have any idea how many times I had to fight back the urge to vomit? Seriously, fuck you, movie!
What is your major malfunction?
The only saving grace is Jason Alexander, who I swear to God knows he's in a shitty movie, and is delivering this amusingly passive-aggressive I don't give a fuck performance. Beyond that though, actually I did like that music box blunt gag, but no, this isn't funny. In fact, it's really uncomfortable. This was a chore to sit through. My honest rating for My Boyfriend's Meds, a 2 out of 5, saved only by Jason Alexander.
Pour faire partie de la sororité, tu dois nous raconter quelque chose d'hyper personnel, tu vois. J'habite avec ma tante. Elle est mon beau. C'est quoi mon beau? C'est une danseuse? Non, c'est mon beau. Mon grand-père est mort en 1962. Il a été victime de zombification. Il s'est enfui. Il a erré. Je suis une amie de Mélissa. Vous faites du vaudou, vous pouvez m'aider à vivre.
Il faut pas prendre ça à la légère.
I have no idea what this was going for, but I did not agree with it. I'll say this about the flick, it has some interesting ideas regarding zombies. In this film, they're portrayed like they retain some intelligence but aren't inherently hungry for flesh and instead simply wander or are forced to work. If I were to hazard a guess, it's a Haitian cultural thing. There is some solid cinematography, the acting is wonderful from the young cast, and the climax is quite chilling. But the compliments sadly end there. Despite the young actors being pretty good, barely anything that is established goes anywhere. For nearly half the flick, it's building up who this ex-lover of Fanny is. We find out he breaks up with her in a text that we don't see, and now she wants Voodoo to help her with the pain, and she wants him inside her, which doesn't mean what you think it means. And despite Melissa's aunt saying shit like, it's not that easy, you can't just learn it, she still does everything that's asked of her, and all for a girl that she doesn't know for a reason that doesn't feel compelling enough. As a result, the writing is very subpar. We learned that Melissa makes weird noises, which amounts to nothing. Is she a zombie herself? Why did she have a dream about eating one of her friends? It's never explained. To make matters worse, I can't even proclaim that the movie has an ending. Rather, it just stops. Just as things are getting good and interesting, the credits roll. Overall, it has a few good elements here and there, but unless it culminates into something more tangible and meaningful, then it's really hard for me to recommend this. It is an interesting dive into another culture, and it does pique some interest in the actual story of Clairvius Narcisse. Definitely mispronounced that. But the movie as a whole is just not my cup of tea. My honest rating for Zombie Child, a weak 3 out of 5.
Miss Woodhouse? You will never guess what has happened. Robert Martin has offered me his hand.
You must be the best judge of your own happiness. Mr. Knightley.
This is your doing. She is the natural daughter of nobody knows who.
Honest gentleman and a gentleman.
Okay, I accept this one. Hard to say if it's my favorite, but it does get a lot right and even fixes certain problems that I've had with previous versions. Bear in mind that any and all comparisons will be with the Gwyneth Paltrow one and the one with Kate Beckinsale, as they're the only two that I've seen. Here's what is improved on. The comedy is stellar and I laughed far more than expected. My favorite laugh is the framed portrait of Harriet inside a music box frame. Or maybe Emma's nosebleed. Very anime of this movie. Mia Goth is far and away the best Harriet. It's those big gorgeous eyes, y'all. This is incredibly surprising if you know Goth's penchant for very non-comedic movies. The romantic chemistry between Emma and Knightley. In previous versions, I felt it was too random. Here, it's more subtle and organic to the story. The friendship between Emma and Harriet. There are some truly wonderful character moments that left a smile on my face and does a better job of explaining why Emma is so focused on Harriet in the first place. Things that I still don't quite like. In every version that I've seen, Emma never truly apologizes to Miss Bates for her insult. It's either glossed over entirely, or Bates just implies her forgiveness. That's not how apologies work. Also, no film adaptation has ever overcome exposition dumps of backstories or circumstances being told to us instead of shown. If this isn't tied with my favorite adaptation of Emma alongside Kate Beckinsale's version, then it's a damn close second. It has charm, humor, great improvements. I'm giving it a pretty high endorsement, if period rom-coms are your baggage. My honest rating for Emma, a strong 4 out of 5. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. I really appreciate it. Have a great day. Hope to see you soon.